Good morning. It is good to see all of you online today. I'm Karin Landsberg with the OUUC Tech Team. I use she, her pronouns. Welcome to all who are joining us on whatever platform you are using. This Zoom service is being recorded and it is streaming live to YouTube. We are leading worship from several locations today, so you will see the service move back and forth between us. Most of our sharing happens in the Zoom chat box, which is not posted or shared publicly. We use the chat feature for greetings, song lyrics, affirmations, and applause, and items shared from the heart. It is not a good format for critique or conversation, especially back and forth debate. Please save your comments for the coffee chat, or feel free to contact Reverend Mary at minister@ouuc.org. We will be turning the chat off and on during the service today. We have also enabled the automated closed captioning for those of you who would like to use it. It is easy enough to alter your settings. Find the CC button at the bottom of your screen and click to see options. You can hide subtitles or click subtitle settings to change the text size. This feature is imperfect, especially with song lyrics. Feel free to hide subtitles during hymns if they are distracting. We can expect some tech glitches as we continue to do all we can to optimize our connections. If you experience any technical issues during the service, you can reach out to Joe Celine or any other member of the tech team for assistance when the chat is on. We appreciate the grace, and as we all remember, it's about connection, not perfection. Last, I hope you will find a candle or chalice. In a moment, we can light them together. Thank you for your grace and adaptability as we all learn together.
Good morning. Let's sing together our morning song, hymn number 42, Morning So Fair to See. You can also find the words for the song in the chat.
Good morning. Welcome to the Olympia Unitarian Universalist Congregation online worship service. The OUUC community comes together in the mutual promises and possibilities of our covenant. We envision an interconnected world that is loving, just, and healthy. We commit to live out our mission to welcome and wonder, embrace and empower, bridge and become. We're so glad that you are here. My name is Emmy Allen. I use they, them pronouns, and I am a member of the worship arts team. Leading the worship with me today is our minister, Reverend Mary Gear, Troy Fisher, and our music director. He is away this weekend and left us with recordings for music this morning, for which we are grateful. We give thanks to the tech team and to OUUC media specialist, Joe Celine, for providing technical support today. And thanks to Darlene Sarkala, our administrator, for keeping us informed and connected. Thank you to the breakout room hosts this morning for holding space for us to gather and connect. We are grateful for the many hands that helped make worship happen this morning. We welcome each of you to this congregation as we gather to worship together. After the service, we invite you to stay online for a virtual coffee chat. This is a chance to gather with a small group to say hello and to check in. Each breakout room will be hosted by someone to help make sure everyone knows each other and has a chance to share. Reverend Mary will offer reflection questions to get the conversation started, and we hope you'll stay. I want to draw your attention to the order of service, which includes our announcements available on the website. Plan to return to the main Zoom room after the coffee chat for a Q&A with Reverend Mary and others. She'll talk about our efforts to gather in larger groups again and about plans for a service of installation in the fall. As time permits, Reverend Mary will answer any other burning questions you may have. We hope you'll stay. And there are many opportunities to stay connected to our community because social distancing doesn't mean social isolation. And please check the website regularly. If you have questions or need help, please check in with the staff member. Now, let us open our hearts and minds as we prepare for worship. Welcome, everyone. It's good to be together. This morning and every Sunday morning, we join Unitarian Universalist congregations around the world in lighting a chalice, which is the symbol of our faith. Please join me as we light our chalices together with these words from Rumi. Out beyond ideas of wrongdoing and right doing, there is a field. I'll meet you there. When the soul lies down in that grass, the world is too full to talk about. Ideas, language, even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense.
Good morning, everyone. Our opening words this morning are by Anne Slater, adapted. The Persian poet Rumi challenges us, come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. And we come from rich heritages of liturgy and pomp. We come from burning legacies of angry gods and threats of hellfire. We come just as we are. We come with exuberant and joyful hearts, eager to witness to others. And we come bereft of the goodness of life, wondering, hesitant. We come just as we are. We come in the bloom of youth, ready to explore new truths. We come ready to sit apart from our children and be nourished for a time. We come with gray in our hair and experiences to share. We come just as we are. We come to this place we never knew before was home. We come to the place that has been home for most of our lives. We come just as we are, to join our siblings as members of one family in this beloved home, our hands and hearts outstretched. Come, yet again come. Come, let us worship together.
Let's sing together hymn number 188, Come, Come, Whoever You Are. And we're going to start by singing, Though You've Broken Your Vows 1,000 Times.
Though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows,
whoever you are, wonder, worship, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come, come, whoever you are, wonder, worship, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair.
wonder,
Yet again
lover of leaving, ours is no caravan.
whoever you are, wonder, worship, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Yet again
Lover of leaving, ours is no caravan.
whoever you are, wonder, worship, lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair. Yet again
Lover of leaving, ours is no caravan of despair.
broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times, though you've broken your vows 1,000 times.
Thank you. In a free religious community, to serve is the highest expression of our commitment and love. To be asked to lead is the highest honor. And there is a cycle to leadership, as there are cycles to life. This morning, we take time in our worship service to mark the change in leadership for the OUUC Board of Trustees and the Leadership Development Committee. At the May 1st congregational meeting, you upheld our democratic principle and elected 3 new board members and 2 new members of the LDC. You will have a chance to show your appreciation and commitment to them in a bit, and we'll ask you to unmute yourself, so be prepared. The relationship between a congregation and the leadership is one of deep respect and mutual regard. You have asked them to take on the holy work of discernment and guidance. They need you to support them in their work, share ideas and concerns in love, and to offer them trust as they fulfill their offices faithfully. The work of the church is the work of the people. It is the work of building the world of which we dream.
We begin this morning by thanking the outgoing members of the Leadership Development Team, Karen Jackson and Eric Felch. You have served this congregation during a time of transition, both for the congregation and the LDC. You have served with grace, energy, and determination. Please join me in thanking Eric and Karen. You can show your appreciation with visible applause, jazz hands, or comments in the chat. There are 3 members of the LDT who continue their service: Jen Sable, Sharon Love, and Dawn Melnick. Thank you. And 2 new members join them, Pat Sonnenstall and Tim Ransom. Jen, Sharon, Dawn, Pat, and Tim, will you be diligent and faithful in your work, bringing your best selves and practicing self-care and open-heartedness, tending with love the details of the work, and always keeping the goal of beloved community in front of you as you serve? And if so, please unmute yourself and respond, "We will."
We will.
We will.
We will.
OUUC members, leadership service done faithfully in love is the work of justice and community building. This is what you have asked of these people before you this morning, that they serve you faithfully and well. To do this, they need your trust and support. I ask, will you offer love and trust, discerning your call when they ask you to consider service, and responding when they seek your input and express needs for shared ministry? If so, please unmute yourselves and respond, "We will."
We will.
We will.
We will. We will.
We will.
We will.
Okay, I think we got everybody. And now, the Board of Trustees. There are 4 members who are leaving the board: Wendy Endress, Chris Park, Barry Zicker, and Sally Al-Hadif. You have each served faithfully and well, bringing your many gifts and talents to the work of this congregation. Please join me in thanking Wendy, Chris, Barry, and Sally for their service. You can show your appreciation with visible applause, jazz hands, or comments in the chat.
Thank you so much for your service. And there are 5 members of the board who continue their service this year: James Trujillo, Jason Martinelli, Brian Coyne, Diana Finch, and Rich Kallman. Thank you so much. And 3 new members of the board join them: Amy Bertrand, Arlene Kollerick, and Eric Ness. James, Jason, Brian, Diana, Rich, Amy, Arlene, and Eric, will you be diligent and faithful in your work, bringing your best selves and practicing self-care and open-heartedness, tending with love the details of the work, and always keeping the goal of beloved community in front of you as you serve? If so, please unmute yourself and respond, "We will."
We will.
We will.
Thank you. And OUUC members and friends, leadership service done faithfully in love is the work of justice and community building. This is what you have asked of these people before you this morning, that they serve you faithfully and well. To do this, they will need your trust and support. And so I ask you, will you offer love and trust to your board, responding when they seek your input, showing up when they tell you what work needs to be shared, and listening carefully when they speak of the life of the church? If so, please unmute yourselves and respond, "We will."
We will.
We will.
We will.
Will.
How lovely. All right, we'll try that again. How lovely to hear all of your voices. May the spirit of love guide you in the coming year. May the spirit of joy infuse the work in which you engage. And may your service bless this community and bless the world. Thank you so much. We came together in community this morning, bringing all that is in our lives, drawing on the love of this community to listen deeply and hold all that we bring here with us. If you would like to send in something to be shared, please look for the link on the online worship page on the website, or just send me an email, and we'll bring it into the service next week. In this space, we draw from our hearts and share from our hearts what brings us joy and sorrow, what brings us worry and delight, what makes us afraid, and what makes us dance. Let's open our hearts to the complexity of life, ours and others. You will hear a drumbeat as we share today. Thank you so much, Curtis. It will bring into our awareness that our individual hearts beat, and together we create the heartbeat of our community. Right now, let's just take a breath together, in and out, as we open our hearts to receive the complexity of all that is in our lives and our community today. We reach out our hearts to Roberta Smith and her partner, Michael Marsh. Roberta is in the hospital in serious condition. They have no needs right now, and we'll put a request out on Caring Friends if there are ways that we can support Roberta and Michael. Right now, they ask for us to send our love and care. Eric Felch's father, Bill, had a stroke last week, and he is receiving comfort care now. He asks for prayers for his family. Eric, we send our love, care, and prayers to you and your father and your entire family. Maggie Post asks for prayers for her family, who have many unknowns ahead. Her daughters face the challenges of a divorce and move and an autism diagnosis for a child. Maggie's brother is recovering from spinal surgery related to his bone cancer and now has a blood clot. Maggie, we send our heartfelt prayers to you and your family for the days and weeks ahead. I invite you now to share from your heart by entering in the chat box on your screen. This is a time to share all that you wish, joys and sorrows and whatever else is shared from your heart. And as we take in what is posted, let's hear the heartbeat of our community and reach out our hearts in love and care to all those who share. I'll place a stone in the water for all that has been shared and is being shared from the heart. A stone holding the complexity of our lives, held in the water of community. And we'll place one last stone in the water for all of the joys and sorrows and sharing that we hold in our hearts and that remains unspoken. I invite you now into a time of reflection, prayer, and meditation. I offer this prayer from the faith tradition of Islam, which uses some of the 99 names of Allah and was written by Anne Mason. O Maker of order and Shaper of beauty, we are grateful for the world in which we live. Instill in us that sense of awe that we may walk with humble hearts, open to the beauty of all that surrounds us. O source of peace and inspirer of faith, in these troubled times we ask for internal strength and perseverance. Help us to know that we must never lose hope. Help us to act in the world in ways that continue to lift up those who have fallen, to bind up the broken, and to uphold the dignity of the oppressed. O Giver of life, we hold in our hearts all those who are harmed by continuing war in the Middle East. Help us all to keep our hearts open to all who suffer, while we work for peace and understanding here at home. O forgiver and hider of faults, accept us as we are. Help us to know that in the face of all that we fear, that we are enough. We can love and we can be loved just as we are. O patient one, grant us peace in our minds, peace in our bodies, peace in our congregation, and peace in our world. Let's hold a moment of silence together.
Please join us as we sing Peace, Salam, Shalom. Peace, of course, is English, Salam is Arabic, and Shalom is Hebrew. The words are found in your chat if you forget the word order. Let me bring it up so that we can see the whole choir singing, and then you can join us. Here we go. 5, 6, and we go.
Peace, salam, shalom. 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 Peace, salam, shalom.
Our prayers and meditations deepen our gratitude for what we know as sacred in our lives and in this world. Each Sunday, we express our gratitude by joining together in service to our community and to something greater than ourselves. The offering collected here does two things. It supports the ongoing work of OUUC, which is also supported by your regular pledges. This offering also supports an organization that serves our community in harmony with our Unitarian Universalist values. For the months of May and June, our Share the Plate recipient is Quixote Communities, an organization that works to provide permanent and supportive housing for people experiencing homelessness. We have a video to share about their work.
Hello, members of OUUC. I'm Ken. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm the program manager at Quixote Village, which started originally as Camp Quixote, hosted initially by you at your church. It then spent the next 6 years floating from church to church with ongoing support from you, and eventually was able to found where we are now with Quixote Village. And a lot of the foundational work, the guiding principles, was worked through and worked on by members of your congregation. As we became a permanent home for folks and with resident support through case management, we've seen a lot of really remarkable successes. Folks have graduated from high school, from college. They've reconnected with old family members, and a lot of folks have found recovery from substance use disorder. We're actually in the process of building 2 more villages, which is really exciting. One of them up in Pierce County and one in Mason County. And we've also been able to expand from our initial 1.5 full-time positions at the village to 3. So we've got a lot of extra support now that we didn't have previously. 2020 and now 2021 have been hard years. And one of the, wonders though that has come of it all is that we have connected with a service called Life Transitions that provides counseling to our residents. Very excited that we've had that as a support, and very excited that with your support we're going to be able to expand that and offer it to more of our residents. So I want to thank you all for your support and hope you have a wonderful day.
Yay. Please note that you can participate in the offering by making a donation online through the church website or by texting the number that will appear on your screen in just a moment. You can also mail a check to OUUC. Our community partners continue to need our financial support. May the offering now be generously given as it is gratefully received.
1, 2, 3. Na 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 hey ya na na di ya na hey ya na nua ana hey o nua na hey ya na di ya na hey ya na nua ana hey o nua na.
That was amazing. Thank you for your generous gifts. So again, my name is Emmy Allen and I use they, them pronouns. And I was asked to give a personal reflection on the practice of extended devotional practice, or the practice of extended devotional retreat or practice. And this is during the time or recognizing Ramadan, and which is an extended period of time of devotion with body, speech, and mind in Islam. So I was an ordained person for 9 years in a Buddhist tradition. And I have a lot of experience with extended devotional practice. And in the case of Ramadan, it's also a group practice, it's community practice. And so while I've done individual retreats, I thought I would talk a little bit about group retreats. You know, in my tradition, it was said that one person praying is like trying to clean with one bristle, but in a group, the power of group practice is like a broom and it sweeps much more efficiently and effectively. And I think part of that is accountability. We are accountable to each other to show up and do this practice. Often these retreats would have specific boundaries around body, speech, and mind, which includes fasting, which is part of Ramadan. People eat before sunrise and after sunrise. Oh, sunset. Okay, I'm really nervous. I'm sorry. Okay. Reverend Mary, I'm looking at you.
You're doing great, Emmy. Thank you.
Okay. So so I wanted to just talk about the 3 words: extended devotional practice. Extended just means, usually for me, longer than I was comfortable with. Long enough to the point where you get bored or frustrated or whatever. It brings out some deeper feelings. That's usually extended. And that could vary from person to person. It could be a day, could be a month. Or for others, it's longer. And devotional, I think, is a really big topic. But to me, devotion is an expression of love. And in my own practice, love of those who have gone before me, and love for myself, where I wish to develop my mind and heart to the fullest, and also love for those who come after me. And then with devotion can be shown in different ways, in body, speech, and mind. But one thing that Muslims do all around the world is prostration. And that's also the case in other religious traditions, including my own. And prostration is not about saying that you're less than. It's about showing gratitude and humility. And then practice. Practice to me means repetition. You're repeating something. And for me, it often felt like going for the same walk every day. It's like a path in your mind that you take. And I wanted to say that I don't know if anyone knows who Ben Harper is, but I really like Ben Harper. He's a musician. And he has this song where he says, you put the happy in my nest. And that's really what retreat is about, putting the happy in everything else, in our nest. And it's about really showing up. Okay, I think it's been 5 minutes. Am I good, Reverend Mary? Okay. The other thing that people do with their bodies is pilgrimage. And that's one of the 5 pillars within Islam. And many traditions have this practice, which is literally going for that walk every day, but it's the same. It's a physical expression of what practice is. And the word retreat is often used, and I wanted to just say that retreat is like, it's the opposite of retreat. It's fully showing up and doing these practices. We don't do them all the time, but we try to keep a thread of that retreat, of that devotion and love in between these times of concentrating on body, speech, and mind as devotion of love. Okay, thank you. I hope that made sense, and love to you all.
Thank you, Emmy, for your reflection. Emmy mentioned Ramadan, and this past week, our Muslim siblings celebrated the 3-day festival of breaking the fast, known as Eid al-Fitr. This celebration marks the end of Ramadan, which is a holy month of fasting, reflection, and prayer. Eid al-Fitr is marked by special foods, often made from recipes that have been passed down through generations. The days of celebration are also marked by special prayers, gatherings of family and friends, and charitable gifts to those who are in need. Most of the 1.8 billion Muslims around the world observe Ramadan because it is considered the most holy month of the year. The Prophet Muhammad reportedly said, When the month of Ramadan starts, the gates of heaven are opened and the gates of hell are closed and the devils are chained. Muslims believe it was during this month that God revealed the first verses of the Quran, Islam's sacred text, to Muhammad on a night that is known as the Night of Power. The spiritual practice of fasting is not unique to Muslims, as Emmy noted. As in many traditions, the purpose of fasting is to offer the opportunity to be closer to God, the holy, the sacred. Some of you may have a story or an experience of fasting. About 10 years ago, I participated in a vision fast for 3 days and 3 nights, camping in the forest during a rainy June in the Pacific Northwest. My intention was to step outside of my usual routine, shed the distractions of food and drink, and move into a physical and spiritual space of openness to my inner voice and connection beyond myself. It was a profound and emotional experience that moved me further along my path to ministry. For followers of Islam, the practice of fasting serves both a spiritual and social purpose. Fasting helps remind Muslims of human frailty and dependence on God for sustenance. It reduces distractions to allow for focus on a relationship with Allah. And it shows Muslims what it feels like to be hungry and thirsty, to encourage compassion for the poor and needy, and serves as a reminder of the duty to care for those with less than. Every day during the month of Ramadan, Muslims fast from dawn until sunset. And because Muslims follow a lunar calendar, which is 11 days shorter than the Gregorian calendar of 365 days, Ramadan arrives 11 days earlier each year. So the practice of fasting can be easier during the shorter days of winter and harder during the longer days of summer. During Ramadan, fasting means abstaining from any food and drink between dawn and dusk, from smoking cigarettes, from chewing gum, and from engaging in any sexual activity. Muslims are also encouraged to curb negative thoughts and emotions like jealousy, as well as avoid things like swearing, complaining, and gossiping. Muslims do continue other activities during Ramadan, like work and school. Now, you might expect that Ramadan would be awful, perhaps boring, at least super challenging. It's not intended to inflict suffering. Fasting is not required if it's detrimental to a person's health. Ramadan is a time when Muslims are asked to sacrifice. Suffering and sacrifice are not the same thing. Suffering is to be forced to endure pain. Sacrifice is to surrender one thing for the sake of something else. There is a choice in sacrifice. Ramadan is about surrendering food, drink, and other things in order to deepen a relationship with the sacred. In fact, many Muslims say that they look forward to Ramadan for the sense of connecting to so many others who are also experiencing thirst and hunger and seeking that connection with the holy. There is a strong sense of community, as in, we're all in this together. And there is a connection to a long tradition and history of Islam. Ramadan is a time to revisit the ancient stories of Muhammad with study of the Quran, just as the Hajj, the pilgrimage to Mecca, is a time to revisit the ancient story of Hagar and Ishmael. Fasting during Ramadan is one of the 5 pillars of faith or duties for Muslims. The others are a declaration of faith in God and Muhammad, to pray 5 times a day, to give to those in need, and to make a pilgrimage to Mecca at least once, if able. Each of these is an example of the spiritual practice of devotion. Now, words like faith and devotion are not typically ones that you hear a lot in Unitarian Universalist circles. We have a long history of struggle with the language of reverence, as the Reverend Bill Sinkford says. In fact, several of you have contacted me after a Sunday service to ask, what exactly is it I mean when I say that Unitarian Universalism is a faith tradition? What a great question. I'm a fan of engaging with and questioning language because I believe it helps us connect to our history and discern what we believe and don't believe. The conventional definitions of faith are these: a complete trust or confidence in something or someone, and a strong belief in God or in doctrines of a religion without question. Now, that's a pretty big stretch for a tradition that questions everything and upholds reason as one of the principles and doesn't require a belief in God. UU minister and theologian Paul Razor suggests that Unitarian Universalism is a faith without certainty. We are a liberal religion, which it's important to say is not the same thing as being politically liberal. Liberal religions are those with a theology that says that religious history, sacred texts, and spiritual experiences are to be interpreted from the perspective of modern knowledge and modern life experience. Liberal religions tend to uphold free and open intellectual inquiry. We ask questions. We uphold the authority of the individual's experience and reason, ethical dimensions of religion, and making religion credible and relevant to modern times. An example of religious liberalism is how we interpret the Bible. Last Sunday, I offered as a reading a passage from the book of Genesis that is a creation story. In our liberal religious tradition, I interpreted and critiqued the Bible text based on current and modern circumstances. I preached that the text saying that humans were created in the image of God to rule over all the creatures and the earth may not serve us well and may need to mean something different today in an age of climate chaos. I also said that created in the image of God might be a metaphor for the spark of divinity that is in with each of us. A traditionalist or fundamentalist view of this text would say that humans were literally created in the image of God and are here to rule over the earth and her creatures. So faith in a liberal religious tradition doesn't mean complete confidence or trust in doctrine. We don't have doctrine. It means our faith, our beliefs are open to change and interpretation based on modern experiences and current events. It means using reason and experience to determine what we believe, knowing that beliefs change with new growth and learning. It means, as Razor says, that Unitarian Universalism is an eyes wide open faith, a faith without certainty. So what might the pillars of faith be for Unitarian Universalism? Well, because we don't have a doctrine, I would suggest that pillars of faith might be searching for truth and meaning and spiritual practice. But I'd also suggest that they might be different for each person. We have a faith without certainty and with variety. Devotion is another word that we may not often hear in UU circles. Emmy earlier spoke beautifully about their experience of extended devotional practice as an expression of love. The definition of devotion is loyalty, deep affection or love, as Emmy said, and dedication to a principle or practicing and believing in a specific religion. Now, that's not quite as much of a stretch for many UUs. As we connect and engage with a spiritual community, at its best, we develop loyalty, love, and dedication to the values and principles we uphold, and love for the people we're in community with, even when it's hard. At its heart, devotion is about spiritual practice, the practice of being in community, the practice of faith, the practice of justice. I believe that humans long for spiritual depth, but we can be reluctant to begin and maintain a spiritual practice that might provide that depth. A devotional practice helps us connect with the divine within us, between us, and beyond us. It helps us remember who we are and why we are here. It helps us discover and define our faith. It requires commitment, discipline, and sustained practice. And we break those vows 1,000 times. And we come, yet again, come. Faith and devotion are what underlie the spiritual practice of Ramadan. Fasting, prayer, and charity are actions. They are our doing. But they are the outgrowth of faith and devotion, our being. The practices of Ramadan help Muslims connect with the holy for spiritual sustenance. And perhaps that is a lesson of Ramadan for Unitarian Universalists. When our spirits are fed, our actions are spiritually grounded, outgrowths of our deepest held values and beliefs. The doing and the being are intertwined, and both are holy. I'll end with a blessing in Arabic and in English. Assalamu alaikum. Peace be with you. Justice be with you. Mercy be with you. Compassion be with you. Love be with you. God be with you. Let's hold just a moment of silence together.
Let's sing together our closing hymn, hymn number 1008, When Our Heart is in a Holy Place.
And we listen with a loving mind. holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When we share the silence of a sacred space. When the God of our hearts is and we feel the power of each other's faith. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place. We are blessed with love and amazing grace. When our heart is in a holy place. When our heart is in a holy place.
Please join me as we extinguish our chalices together with some words that we heard in the service today. We come just as we are. Each wonder the seasons bring, prayers and meditation, devotion and faith, blessed with love and amazing grace, peace, salam, shalom. Come, yet again come. May we be in peace.
Let's join in singing our unison benediction. How bountiful the blessings that surround us. We come together grateful to be one. As we go forth and greet the days unwinding, the circle grows as pebbles thrown to pond. And know that Spirit guides us on our pathways, abiding in our hearts the bond of love.
Please stay online if you'd like to join in virtual coffee and conversation. You'll see an invitation pop up that will invite you to join a breakout room. Please introduce yourself to anyone that you don't know. Thank you for building community today. If you are new to OUUC, we'd love to hear from you. You can fill out a visitor card at the link in the chat. If you are not planning to stay for coffee chat, it does help us divide evenly if you find the red Leave Meeting button and